You're listening to the SS Experience on SMG.
Recording in progress.
All right, what up, though? Y'all know what y'all listening to. It's another edition of the SS Experience. Rate, review, subscribe, re-rate, re-review, resubscribe. You know, keep that process going over and over and over again so the algorithm continue to be popping out here in these digital streets. We got a friend of the show, Morgan Harper, back. She's been on a hiatus for a hot little minute, but she's been out in the political world doing her thing. What's going on, Morgan?
Hey, good to be back on. I'm good.
All right, so Morgan, you've done a lot of stuff since the last time that you've been on. A lot of victory laps that you've been able to take on TV with like real political talking heads and all of that. I tried to go back and watch what you was doing on Fox 5 DC, but for some reason I couldn't find the video.
Someone's watching that?
I know. I tried to find it. I couldn't find it. Like I was like, I'm on the Fox 5 side. I'm like, what day was it? What show was it?
It's hard to find the Fox 5 clips.
Yeah. So I was just like, okay, so I can't find it because I was going to actually ask you some intelligent questions based on things that you actually was doing, but I figured that you'll go ahead and do a victory lap on everything. So your Ticketmaster situation's been going pretty good. You know what I'm saying? So go ahead, tell us about that real quick. You know what I mean? Because I know the last time that you was on, that's what you was on.
Right. And actually, you've been with this since the beginning because we just had launched the campaign to break up Ticketmaster. And people were like, you really think the government's going to do something? Wasn't that like one of the other guests that you had on? They were like questioning, oh, the government's not going to do anything about that.
Yeah. We had to ask the questions because, you know, government's supposed to have other things to do. But, you know, you found a way to make them act right.
We found it. Yeah. So we launched this campaign in fall 2023. Over 100,000 people sent letters to the Department of Justice saying we need to do something about Ticketmaster, these ticket prices. There was the whole Taylor Swift, for those who are Taylor Swift fans, fiasco with the concert tour. And then we just kept building and building. And eventually this spring, the Department of Justice did actually file a lawsuit against Ticketmaster to break them up. And what do I mean by break them up? Meaning the government saying we're suing you and telling the court the only way to resolve all this anti-competitive behavior that Ticketmaster's been engaging in is to actually like force them to separate some parts of the company so that they don't have these conflicts of interest.
Okay. So now the fees and all of that stuff is going low. So the second that I seen that on, you know, mainstream media, I'm like, okay, Morgan, victory lap. Yay. You know what I'm saying? Make sure that she get her flowers for that real quick. But that's old news. That's old news. You know what I'm saying? We gotta talk about some new stuff. You know what I mean? I don't know where I want to start with you, Morgan. Trump almost being assassinated. You know what? I do want to start there. When that first happened, did you think it was fake? Because I did. I'm not gonna lie to you. It took me a while to realize that was real.
Well, I mean, it was unexpected. And so I get how people were kind of questioning it, but I don't know. With the Secret Service involved, and then he actually did look a little surprised. It seemed like it was real, but I understand the skepticism for sure. Just right now, you know, with AI, all this stuff, we don't know what's what on the internet. But yeah, that seemed to be real. Now, how much actual damage it did, it doesn't seem like it was like a direct hit. Like it kind of grazed. It was more of a grazing situation, but still serious. If it had been over a couple inches, that probably would have done a lot of damage. So very scary.
Yeah, he turned his head. He keeps his head still. He's dead. He reads whatever he's reading. He's alive, which is cool. He shouldn't have been having a bandage on his ear so long, though, right? Like going all the way from the time that he got shot at to the Republican convention, which I watched that too, by the way.
Oh, did you?
Oh, you were able. I told you, I'm always down for the train wreck.
I mean. Well, did you think it was a train wreck, the Republican convention?
Oh, my God. You should have watched the first one. The first one was DEI. It was all the black people. It was doggone the dude from South Carolina, the Tim Scott dude, the Byron Donalds dude.
Well, and then Amber Rose.
It was all the black people, you know what I'm saying, that was down for Trump.
What's up with Amber Rose? Like, what happened to her? I mean, not that what happened, like she used to be enlightened, but I don't know. Very weird.
Man, it was hilarious. I just had to watch it. And then your boy. That's what I want to get into. Your boy, man, good old JD Vance. You know what I'm saying? He's not doing a good job right now, is he? Like he's kind of like underperforming, right? He's not doing what Trump expects him to do?
Well, and as you know, they chose him when they thought, okay, it's going to be Trump v. Biden, repeat of 2020. Trump was sort of like ascending in the polls, especially after the assassination attempt. And JD Vance, it seems, is really close with his son, whatever. So I don't know if Trump was in that moment thinking very strategically. Usually when you're choosing your vice president, you want them to kind of like fill some gap that you might have. Like they're appealing to a different constituency, or they're from a geography that it could be like borderline for you. So you want to make sure they help push you over the edge. JD Vance, as we know, is from Ohio. Ohio is very solidly Trump country, unfortunately. So it's not like he needed a boost in Ohio. And it's not really clear like what additional demographic JD Vance is bringing in, because he's gone full on Christian nationalist MAGA, which is what Trump already is. And so it's not like moderating him, and maybe, versus like if he had chosen a Nikki Haley, well, then you have a woman of color. Maybe you're like bringing new people into the party, someone who's seen as more moderate, but JD Vance is seen as pretty MAGA. So
Okay.
I don't know.
DJ321 did tell me Nikki Haley's supposed to be a woman of color. Maybe not of direct color, but okay. Yeah, I keep forgetting that. I thought you were going to go more of the Carrie Lake, you know what I'm saying? That type of situation.
Carrie Lake would have been, but Carrie Lake's also just total MAGA. So, but she is in a more of a swing state with Arizona. So at least that would have been a little more strategic. But I don't know. Her star is kind of like fallen a little bit this cycle. She had a lot of momentum last cycle, was on TV all the time. I feel like people aren't as enthralled with her as they used to be,
Something I was about to say about, oh yeah. So do you think it's weird that JD Vance historically called Trump Hitler, said if you vote for Trump, you're an idiot? And then I talked about this on my last podcast. You can talk crap about somebody, but once somebody gives you power, forget all of that stuff, man. You're a great guy. Did you think that was kind of weird that Trump would pick somebody that talked so much trash about him?
It's extremely weird. But again, to me, it's like it's sign he's not really thinking all that clearly. Because that's the other thing is like JD Vance has said all this stuff. Those are all going to be quotes that Democrats can use again and again and again. And then I don't know if you saw, just this week, his old friend from law school released text messages that they had where he's also saying things like, I hate the police. It's like, well, that's interesting given MAGA land seems to be like all in on that front, So now he's just like contradicting some of the positions that Trump has. It's a mess. And he's like super hypocritical. He used to be more liberal. It's pretty clear. His wife was a registered Democrat, and that they're just about the power and ascending. And, will that be enough to like sink the election for them? I think it's still pretty early. And even though it feels like, oh, it's just around the corner, a lot of people don't start paying attention to all this until after the summer's over, once we get into September. And so in political time, we still have a good amount of time.
Okay. I wanted to try to run a clip real quick. I might do it in post-production where JD Vance was talking about his wife, and it kind of felt like he was doing the whole, I'm not racist. My wife isn't white. My wife is Indian, and she's a good mother. So I'm thinking like, do we really have to play that card?
Yeah. Well, yeah. And I think there's this clip where, because there's a lot of racist people in this MAGA universe. And one of some of these talk show hosts have been questioning him, was like, well, wait, but your wife's not white. What does that mean? To even be asking that question, crazy. And he has to say like, yeah, okay, though my wife is white, she's still a good mom, and kind of like justifying her color. It's a disaster. So yeah, I don't know where this is headed with JD Vance, but I do wonder if Trump's having some buyer's remorse already.
Oh no, he's definitely is, just like some of those old Trump Tower situations. He got like, yeah, you probably shouldn't have booked that person to do that. So that's crazy.
Right.
So before we get into the real nooks and crannies, I'm just trying to like go through all of the other stuff that I haven't seen in a while.
Yeah.
Are you hip to a dude named Lawrence Jones?
I don't think so. Who's that?
I think I got hip to Fox and Friends a very long time ago, in a long time ago, where it was
I've seen him on Fox. Okay, but I didn't know his name. Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess he's the black guy. I guess someone had to say, hey, okay, Fox News, Fox or the morning show, we got to have some color up in here. So here's a black guy
Yeah,
for you. You know what I'm saying?
exactly. Yeah,
And
he's
the
the
reason I'm bringing him up is because I don't know which host this is, but he referred to Kamala Harris attending a sorority event as the colored sorority.
which is just crazy because this guy is black and like
Well, no,
he
no,
should.
he didn't say it. It was the other white. It was
Oh,
one
the
of the
other
white
white
dudes.
host. Oh,
But the
okay,
simple
got it.
fact that when he said it and his face didn't give like any sort of like what, like it was just like another day in the office.
I mean, I guess if you're signing up to work at Fox News, you probably are hearing all sorts of wild stuff every single day. So maybe that doesn't even register. Crazy.
I just couldn't imagine being there. But I guess you got to get a check from somewhere, right?
Some people, not me.
Me neither. Me neither. All right, let me see. What else? What else? What else is in the political arena, real quick? All right, so before we get to the real nooks and crannies, though, Biden is done. Was it pressure from the party, or was it a reflection of I'm 81 years old, 9 times out of 10, I might not make it through the rest of this second term? Like what do you think? What did you hear like about the Biden actually falling back? Because normally I think I just read that a active president or an incumbent president hasn't stepped down in like 50 years. That you always shoot your shot, you know what I'm saying, go again. So
Right.
what's your thoughts, feelings, or things that you've seen with that?
I mean, I definitely don't think he would have stepped down without a lot of pressure. So, because he was 81 in May as well,
Right.
and so if he was just because of his age, I mean, it seemed like, the debate was not like a strong performance. There was the backlash immediately, and then probably some sense that, oh, this will die down, the media cycle will move on, and then it just wasn't really moving on. And especially once you started to see like some of these big leaders in the party in Congress, like Nancy Pelosi, Hakeem Jeffries, Chuck Schumer, who are suggesting they don't think that he has the necessary support, then I think it became like a little bit untenable. And and we saw this even in President Biden's remarks that he gave from the Oval Office a couple days later. He was like, I'm doing this to unify the party because it was clear the party had fractured. That being said, in terms of like on the ground in Columbus, and I don't know what the conversations were like in your circles, but I wasn't really hearing from like the average voter that they thought, oh my God, Biden has to go. In fact, like most people I know in Columbus didn't watch the debate, or maybe they saw clips later and the clips just kind of affirmed what they already knew, which is Biden is not a spring chicken. And they're just like, yeah, whatever, like moving on. So, I mean, it does seem like this was much more of the party insider kind of pressure. That being said, as we've seen, once he made that decision, I mean, there's been like a groundswell of support, all these different calls that are getting organized, all the small dollar donations. She's raised like $200 million, Kamala, in just a few days, like setting fundraising records. So, it's clear that this decision did unleash a ton of enthusiasm and energy. And so, probably the right call.
Did you think Biden could beat Trump?
I really, really hope so. I'm not good at predicting outcomes of elections, I'll be honest with you.
Look, it happens. We understand why in your particular case. We get it, know what I mean? But you can't lose them all, know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I thought so. But I also think Kamala Harris can, and we'll just kind of see how it plays out. I mean, it's still like now the polls show her neck and neck with Trump within the margin of error. So it seems like it's anyone's game, and it's going to be a pretty interesting, 100 days or so.
Okay. You already got into it, so let's go ahead and get into the main event. Kamala Harris is now she's not official, because this is what I was trying to understand, because I never understood this part. I know down here in Georgia, somebody lost a primary that was an incumbent, so they're automatically like not in the running anymore once the general election came. I didn't know exactly how it worked when it came to president, so I kind of just learned that she's not official yet until the was there going to be a Democratic convention if Biden didn't step down? Because those are the things that I was okay. There still was cool.
There still was going to be one, but it just wouldn't have been as interesting, I guess, because everybody had already pledged for Biden. So either way, in every presidential year, there's a convention.
Okay, cool. I guess we got to spend money and, get together and, talk stuff or whatever. All right, cool. So that answers that question. So she's not official yet until
Right.
they link up in Chicago. I forget when it is, but they're going to be in Chicago.
August 19th.
Okay, August 19th. So,
I'm a delegate, so I'm going to be there.
Oh, for real?
Mm-hmm.
Nice. I kind of want to go with my little microphone and just talk stuff, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there, though.
Okay.
So the Democratic convention is going to be going down in Chicago. That's when it'll be official. So let's have some fun with it before we get there, real quick. So Kamala Harris is taking a lot of shots. They're taking a lot of shots at her multi-racial type stuff, which I think is kind of funny because she kind of do the same thing that white people do towards us. They kind of like, talk to us, converse with us and things like that. And I always find it weird that Kamala Harris always mentions the Southeast Asia thing around this time of year. I never hear her talk about it any other time except around this time of year. You were talking about earlier that there's all these phone calls. You had the black men for protect something I want to get into you with too. So Van Jones, man, I love Van Jones, man. Like he's one of the reasons I watch CNN.
Oh, really?
It was him, Bomani Jones. I think they was on Abby
Bomani's
Phillips.
pretty good though, right? For especially not being a political guy.
I'm liking him in the political world, but I follow him since the sports world.
Yeah,
it was on Abby Phillips show.
Yes,
and
I think I saw that too.
He went into a soliloquy, I'll say the least, about the black men on the call, and they're saying black men support Kamala Harris.
Right.
I have an issue with that from various different ways. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I'll start with the one that's a little bit more friendly, then I'll go into the podcast Real Talk.
Okay.
Are you familiar with her history in California when they said that when she was, I think, the attorney general or the state prosecutor, that she was responsible for a lot of Latino and brown individuals being incarcerated at a higher extent for like marijuana charges?
I have heard that, though now I'm also seeing some people that are putting out data to counter that. And so I haven't looked into that deeply, but yeah, I'm familiar with the take on her track record. Yeah.
Okay. No, because I was just that was I mean, I haven't done that much of a deep dive too, but if you tell me somebody's responsible for people, especially for weed in California, in the home of Snoop Dogg, we're gonna lock people up for weed. I don't know. That kind of like rubbed me the wrong way a little bit about Kamala Harris. So what do you think about her on the ticket though? Like, as far as, let me ask this real quick. So vice president, do you think it's better to have, and I'm gonna put this on the poll at the SS Experience, just so you know, I'm gonna ask her first. Do you think the ticket would be better with an all woman ticket or an all black ticket? And now, obviously, she may pick a white dude still, you know what I'm saying? But if we're just having fun with it real quick, which one?
I mean, I feel like she's going to choose a white guy. Would it be better with all women or all black? So, it's interesting because I've been doing, a lot of interviews and all this. And I just wrote this column saying how, Kamala, for a long time, not just Kamala, but like there's been this very deeply held conventional wisdom in politics that Black women can't win big races, like statewide races, national races, president, all of that, because of sexism, racism, just inherent in American culture.
For sure.
And so, part of it is like, if she can pull this off, it kind of like puts a lot of that to bed, and I think could open up a lot of opportunities for a lot of Black candidates and women candidates moving forward. That being said, to win this race, I do think it's probably important. Well, so because you're really asking, like, do the demographics of the vice president pick matter for her?
Of course.
And I guess my thought is probably what matters more is that they are able to like sell the message and that they're helping her pick up votes, in like a different constituency. So, and if you're using that, this is like a very analytical answer to your question.
No, it's all good. I mean, that's what we're here for.
Yeah, but so using that frame of analysis, I guess I would say it probably is important to get a man to be her running mate, because she's already going to lock up like all of the women, not to say all women are going to vote for Kamala Harris, but all of the women that are likely to be voting at all for a Democrat
Mhm.
are probably going to vote for Kamala Harris, regardless of who her running mate is. And so what's her opportunity for like a pickup, you know? And that seems like more likely if it's a guy, it might help get more men to support the ticket. And if it's a white guy, then maybe it would also help more white people overall, because we're already seeing with some of the numbers that her black support is like through the roof based on polling right now. And so maybe a white guy would then help her get more of the white vote.
Yeah, you definitely danced around it because it was woman or black people. You know what I'm saying? You dance all the way around it. I'll just give my takes to it real quick. I think
Okay.
for real, I would if we're saying for if Van Jones' statement is true, we must as
Wait, sorry,
black
what was his
men,
statement again?
we got
Oh,
to
that all
protect
black
Kamala
men
Harris.
are supportive of
Yeah,
her?
we have to protect Kamala Harris because Kamala Harris
Oh,
has been getting the smoke because all right, so Van Jones, I
although
thought you heard.
Charlemagne the God endorsed her, which I was actually surprised by.
No, I'm not surprised. Nobody
Really?
cares, but I'm not
He was
surprised.
critical of her though. No?
Yeah, he was, but Trump, black woman, you know what I'm saying?
Mm.
You got to go with it. The reason I wanted to do with the Van Jones thing because Van Jones was like, okay, we have to because with the Republicans, you got the Byron Donalds, the Tim Scotts, you know what I'm saying? Those Republican black people that's supposed to bring the black people to the Republican side. You know what I'm saying? Because the
Mhm.
Democrats, quote unquote, haven't been doing nothing for us for the past, couple of years. But now if the Republicans
Which,
talking
I mean, I
points.
don't know if that's actually worked, but yeah, that's been the
No,
theory.
it hasn't. It hasn't.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? As a matter of fact, I've
It
been
just
cracking
helps
jokes.
them advance their careers.
Yeah. I've been cracking jokes about Byron Donalds. Like, say you was doing all that dancing and stuff, thought you was gonna be the VP. Nah. You know what I'm
No
saying?
way. He was never going to be Tim Scott was never going to be the
No.
VP.
I'm talking about the Byron Donalds dude, the dude from Florida.
No, I think both of them. I think both of them thought they could be VPs,
Yeah.
and I agree with you. I think it was like never happening. No
Yeah.
way.
And they were
Yeah.
just doing, and they're just good on the good old boy song and dance. And I'm just clowning them the whole time. I'm like, dang, JD Vance. So I'm just clowning these dudes over and over and over again. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because that's what you get. But when Van Jones says black men, we need to protect Kamala Harris, that's why I feel like the ticket needs to be all black. Ticket
Well,
has to be.
to really inspire people to want to protect.
Yeah, like if you saying for us to protect her, because and again, this is why I go into the podcast, maybe against your world type thing. Her husband's white, her kids are white. If Kamala Harris goes into the White House, it's not gonna be like Obama with black kids running around. She's gonna still be the only black person there. So, and
Sorry,
again,
so who do you
I'm not
think
trying
she
to
should
use her
choose?
dating life and all of that. So I'm just, cracking jokes or whatever. But I'm just saying though, we're not going to be in the White House. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to see myself as the second husband. Like, oh well, it's a white guy,
Wait,
and
so who do you think she should choose?
uh, somebody black. I thought the dude from Maryland, Westmore or something like that, the
Uh-huh.
governor.
Oh
But
yeah.
he already said he didn't want to smoke. He didn't want to do the
Yeah. I
joint.
mean, he's so new and as governor, so
Yeah. So he
yeah.
said he didn't want to
Yeah,
smoke.
he's the only black candidate that's even been mentioned, right?
Yeah, so that's why like I'm really trying to rack my brain against like any other, like African American, and I really can't, think of any. I mean, you grab a mayor or somebody like that. So I don't like I said, I don't know if it's that many of us.
There are a lot of black mayors, but yeah, it would be pretty rare for a mayor to then hop immediately to VP.
Yeah. So then I guess when you go to women, I think women is a little bit more stronger. You got the governor of where's
Michigan, Whitmer.
yeah, her. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You got her. Kind of like that class of women who was trying to run for president the first time. You got her, you got the Senator Amy Klobuchar or something like that.
Klobuchar. But
Yeah.
she
So
said
you
she's
got,
not interested, I don't think.
yeah, so it's kind of like, dang, so the only people who's probably interested is, a bunch of white guys.
It does appear that that's the case. But I think that might also be because a lot of the women know she's not going to choose a woman. So why would you even put yourself out there when you know you're not going to be chosen? It's going to be a white
Yeah.
guy. I think it's going to be a white guy.
Yeah, so it's going to be somebody that, like you said earlier, that can bring the demographic of people that she can't. So I always thought this too when I first heard it.
Especially because she's from California. People don't think Californians understand the rest of the country. So they're going to want somebody from another place.
I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind the governor of California hopping in.
Never happening.
Why not? I think he's pretty cool. I mean, for the
No,
most
but you
part.
could never have two Californians running. That would be like disaster.
Oh, that is right. That is right.
Yeah, they're
I
just like
forgot
too
about that.
fancy, too everything. Yeah, you need somebody that can connect with the heartland.
Okay, so somebody got to be somebody from like the Midwest.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, okay. I wish I did more research on like more people that could have actually done it, but as long as I see a two brown faces, I mean, she got my vote anyway. I mean, she
I
got
don't
my
think you
vote
should hold your
anyway.
breath on the two brown faces, but I will throw out a couple of names like this Andy Bashir guy from Kentucky. He's kind of interesting.
That's the governor, right?
That's the governor, that he's a Democratic governor of Kentucky. He's gone
Okay.
after some of the big pharma companies that are raising drug prices, has been like really aggressive with legislation coming out of there. Sorry, I'm having these allergies. And then the governor of Minnesota, Waltz, he
Okay.
has been super progressive. They've passed legislation in Minnesota during his administration that's like guaranteeing that, you know, kids are getting all the food that they need. Crazy idea, radical ideas like kids get to eat enough.
Oh, of
They're
course.
blocking hospital mergers. So some like really progressive legislation. And I don't know if you've seen any of the interviews he's done, but he's been pretty good in the interviews and kind of like debunking this idea that JD Vance speaks for small town America. He's like, I know what it's like to be in small town America. I'm living it still. So yeah, there's some interesting choices even among the like one demographic set that's being
Okay,
discussed.
okay. No, I mean, because like I said, I didn't lie to you. When I saw that Kamala Harris was getting that motion, I'm like, oh, Trump's gonna moonwalk into the White House because I said this, and this is before I seen all of those Zoom calls. Ain't no straight white man voting for Kamala Harris. No way, no way in hell. You know what I'm saying?
Really?
They'll be like, it's kind of like the same thing with Hillary Clinton. And I think I was going off of that playbook of
Hillary did
Trump.
win the popular vote.
Yeah, but you know how the electoral college is. You know what I'm saying? We don't
Yeah,
understand it, but
exactly.
we have to follow it, which
So
sucks.
now you think more, oh, now you think white guys will because there was like the white guy organizing call?
Heck yeah. Like they had the all black men call, the all white men call. They just
They
had
have
the
the
all
trucker
white
hats
women
now.
call. The only thing that we're missing is the all Asian call.
They had a South Asian call, but I don't think they've had a full Asian call. Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
that's true. Well, you know, so it's interesting. I mean, yeah, I think though, so see, she's also making this play to be very pro-business and kind of like project to the business community, I'm going to be, you know, friendly, whatever. So I feel like that's going to be important. That's a effort of hers to kind of like appeal to a broader part of the electorate as well. But at the end of the day, I still don't think that the fundamentals of this race have changed that much in the sense that it's still like somebody running against Donald Trump. And Donald Trump is spouting some like wild, wild stuff about what he plans to do. Like, in addition to all of the democracy and banning abortion, the things that we've heard about, but like, you know, some of this more, you could call it nuts and bolts, but it impacts a lot of people, like forcing all seniors in America to move to privatized Medicare that is much more expensive. Like, that's part of his plan, which is just a giveaway to big insurance like United Healthcare and all of these places. So it's still kind of like, do you want the government to just be corrupt and kind of like sold to the highest bidder? Or do you want it to sort of be full of people that at least are trying to do the right thing, even if you don't always agree with everything that they do? That's still the race, you know?
Yeah, and Trump I heard wants to do immunity for the police, federal immunity. I just seen this dude. He's a big dude.
Mm,
Cop just punched him straight in the face because you know when you're a certain size and you have to get the handcuffs put on you, they have to
yeah,
do two sets of handcuffs or
yeah.
maybe the plastic ones. And the cop just like straight punched him right in the face, and he ate
Oh
it
my
because
God.
he's big. Like all of the cops is little like this trying to arrest this big dude or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So Trump wants to give people like that some sort of immunity. I think that's super duper weird. And
Oh, well, sorry, are you talking about qualified immunity? Or, well, they already have immunity if they can prove that there was some kind of like threat. So he
I
wants to
don't know. I think I
protect
was
qualified
watching a
immunity?
rally and he just basically spewed it. Like you said, it's the stuff that he spews out or whatever. I just like looking at
Yeah.
the train wreck.
Okay. Yeah. And it is a wreck. And that's what was getting kind of lost in all the coverage of Biden, which, you know, I still think was pretty unfortunate, is like Trump's performance in that debate was insane. I mean, he was making no sense. And in a lot of his public appearances, it's just like craziness. So, you know, with the selection of Kamala, where she's kind of like a little bit more predictable, the things she says are all sort of coherent. It does shine more of a light on just how crazy Trump is. And even how crazy JD Vance is. I mean, I don't know if you saw last week, you know, he did this rally in Middletown, Ohio, in his hometown, and that was supposed to be his big debut, you know, after all the convention, all this, back in his hometown, so safe, you should feel comfortable, whatever. And he started making weird jokes about Diet Mountain Dew, this, that, falling flat. But the even crazier thing was, because, you know, he has to affiliate with all these Republicans in Ohio. And as you know, because you live there, you know, you have in the Ohio State House, like some of the most clownish elected officials you can imagine. And one of them was at this rally with him and said, okay, now it's time to start a civil war. And it's like, civil war? Like, what is this guy talking about? You know, so these people are really, when they for all the unity talk at the convention, I think it only has taken like 24 hours, or in some ways even less than that, to see that there's like a real violence behind a lot of what they're talking about, and it's not a joke. I think it is quite real.
Got you. So we only got like a few minutes left. I just want to ask you this one thing real quick.
Okay.
Does Kamala Harris need to do something for Black people to really get us on? Because one of the knocks about Obama is that he really didn't do anything for Black people as Black people. Do Kamala Harris needs to do some sort of mandate or some sort of, you know, pitch about, I'm going to do this for the African American community?
Should she, or does she need to?
Either or.
I mean, based on the numbers, it seems like, you know, right now, I think the polling is showing like 80% of Black people support her. So, or Black likely voters. So if you're her campaign team, you're not looking at those numbers and thinking like, oh, I need to be like really digging deep to figure out what I need to do to appeal to this set of people. Just being real, right? I mean, I'm sure like if you're a campaign person, that's how you're thinking about it. Whether she should do something directly to support Black people, like absolutely. I think that's why you see her, like even in that first press conference she did, you know, she's bringing back, like talking about, well, it depends on also what you mean by doing something for Black people.
Well, we're going to have to hold that to another conversation because I don't want this thing to cut off on you in mid-sentence.
Okay.
That would super duper suck. You know what I'm saying? So
Yes.
Morgan Harper back on the SS Experience. We will get some more political talk from her from now until the election. Morgan, it was good having you on.
Thank you. We'll be back on soon.
Hope that you do. Don't take like a year and some change, Morgan. We miss you.
Has it been a year?
I'm just being facetious.
But you know, okay, so here's the real thing though. I got so busy at work, and then it took only until like June where I started to bring my head back up. So now I'm back. So yeah, I'll come back on regularly.
You're listening to the SS Experience on SMG.